Hey there, traders. David Floyd here with Aspen Trading Group. I received another question this week from the Ask Dave forum, and it's a pretty darn good one, and I think it deserves a good, solid answer. This comes from Tim in Hopkins, Minnesota. Tim is a client as well, and so he's quoting, or his question is directly related to how I express to my clients how we get into position. So he's asking, on some of your recommendations, you will say, let's start building a long or short position at the current price. He wants to know, can you please talk about how you build a position? I understand making an initial purchase at a size that is probably smaller than a normal position with the idea of adding to it, but what triggers are used in adding to that initial position? It's a great question, Tim. I think the idea of scaling into trades makes a lot of sense under depending on the scenario. I think scaling into trades makes sense if you're looking to be buying a pullback or if you're looking to sell a rally within an uptrend or downtrend respectively. I think, let's be honest, none of us can ever know for sure what the exact support level is going to be that the market respects and then begins to move higher or lower depending on what your forecast is. Scaling into a trade is basically a way of picking a range of prices where you think prices will stop and then reverse trend. Therefore, rather than kind of going all in at once, knowing that it's impossible to nail the low precisely time and time again, scaling in gives you the ability to say, okay, I like this level. I'm going to commit half of my risk capital here, and I'm going to leave a little bit on the table that if prices go a little bit lower, I can add to that, basically dollar cost average in. And the other part of your question is, when do you look to add to it? Well, I would say after the first leg, I'm looking either for confirmation that prices have found that low or that high, depending if I'm going long or short. Or if I did get lucky enough on the first leg where that was the low or that was the high, I'm going to look to add to that trade as prices then begin to move higher in a very impulsive manner that will round me out. Now, granted, in that particular instance, I'm not going to have as good of an entry price as the initial one, but at this point, though, you have further confirmation that the move you were looking for, meaning a continuation of the trend higher or a continuation of the trend lower, is now in fact playing out. So to me, that's a little bit higher conviction as opposed to just adding as prices move lower, because again, you don't know if the market's going to respect those levels. You assume it will. So again, a little bit of art, a little bit of science for sure, but that's the reason. I think, trying to be suggesting that you can nail the entry with your first long or short is kind of hard. There are times when we do that, but it just really depends on the scenario, and that's why I always advise clients, we're going to go in with a full lot here or a full position, or we're going to scale in. I'm using my discretion and the way I'm looking at the market as a way to gauge that. So hopefully that's been helpful. And remember, if you have a question, feel free to send it on in. I'm happy to answer them. You can simply go to the Aspen Trading website and look for the Ask Dave section under the Trader Resources tab. Have a great afternoon, everybody, and we'll be back again with the next question.